Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for the post-match pint in association with Purity. Villa have just somehow lost 2-1 to West Ham. If ever I didn't want to do a show after a game, it would be tonight. Chris Dolan has joined me, as always. Got some of the guests coming on as well. But Dolan, I mean, we're the architects of our own downfall, but how on earth have we not even taken a point from that game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm strangely not as angry as you are. I mean, I'm obviously furious about the decisions and furious about our naivety. To do it twice in a game, to concede so early on at the start of both halves is schoolboy stuff. So there's two or three elements to that game that are angry, but we completely dominated that game. I don't think you'll see a more one-sided game of football all season in the Premier League, and how we didn't get anything from that is beyond me. So I'm proud of the performance overall. But listen, what can you say? I mean, did they have a single? I mean, did our keeper literally make a save? I can't remember making a save at all tonight. I think he touched the ball maybe twice, and he came for one or two crosses, and that is it. That is it. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I just don't understand. I mean, I just don't understand how VAR. I just don't know what the point of it is anymore. I don't see what it's not bringing anything to the game. It doesn't bring anything to the game. I would say out of the calls it's made, I'd say maybe between 5 and 10% of those calls since last season have been anyway decent. I think maybe tonight against the Leicester Fulham game, it showed why it's kind of can be positive, but could you imagine that was us last season at the end of last season, and we needed that point to stay in division, and we go down in the championship because of that. Like it can't be right. It can't be right. So the whole thing needs to be reviewed. I'm stunned it wasn't reviewed and overhauled in the summertime. But the more this goes on, the more the more protests you're going to get, the more people are just gonna give up, man, and it's ruining the game for everybody. And that tonight is just ludicrous.
A side note, I will say I thought the ref was actually quite good tonight in general, but then that VAR decision at the end, it just leaves a sour taste. I mean, they're pulling lines out their arse at the end of it. I've never seen so many lines on a screen. I mean, how many different parts of your body do they think are going to be offside? They're pulling lines down from different players. It's taken 2.5, 3 minutes. I mean, it's so close. There was a time in football when they used to say the attacker should get the advantage. There had to be daylight between the attacker and the defender. We're literally looking now at threads on shirts and getting called offside. Parts of your body you can't even score with are getting called offside. It's just a ludicrous decision. I bet it's the same for everyone. So in some respects, there's pointless me complaining about it. But it's just
if you're a West Ham fan, listen, if that happened to us tonight, I'd be over the moon. So it is what it is. I mean, I saw somewhere on Twitter that somebody said, I don't know if it was Gabby actually said it. About VAR, when it goes for you, it's the best thing in the world, and when it goes against you, it's horrific. And listen, if that was us tonight, and we got away with one tonight, playing so badly, and we get a call like that in the 91st minute, I'd be over the moon. But deep down, it's not right. Deep down, it's not the way to go, and deep down, it's completely ruining the game.
I mean, if I was a West Ham fan tonight, I'd be definitely doing the lottery, doing something, going on the roulette table or something tonight. Because I tell you what, everything. I'm not knocking West Ham, but literally everything has gone their way. Every little thing has just happened for them. We've missed a penalty. We've missed an absolute sitter. Marginal offside calls. They've had 2 shots all game that they've both gone in. Villa have switched off for 2 minutes of a game, and there's 2 goals have come from it. So if you're a West Ham fan, like you say, you're absolutely buzzing with what's happened tonight. The commentator at the end of the game said that if you're Dean Smith, you take a lot away from the performance tonight. But for me, it's just all-round frustration. And to have that at the end of a game for the second week running where you feel like you've been very hard done by VAR, you just think what's the point in football?
Yeah, I mean, a defeat's a defeat, and it's not about playing well. It's about getting points on the board. And I did say at the start of the show that we did play well, and I was pleased with the performance. But it means nothing. It means nothing if you don't convert. And conversion's the name of the game in any business, And if you don't convert your chances, then you'll not win games of football. And credit the West Ham, they didn't play well and still found a way to win. So that for me would be concerning to play that averagely and still win a game of football against us is a bit concerning. I thought again we were very loose at the back. I don't understand this zonal marking. I don't know why or how it's happening. I don't know why no one on the pitch can look at that and go, well, why is Matt Targett or John McGinn or Luis marking Ogbonna? They're one of their biggest players on the pitch. Why is no one taking control of this? And so there's definitely a lot of frustration and I just think we're looking a bit sloppy and I don't know. The mistakes tonight, I didn't like, and you can accept sometimes when you get beat by a couple of wonder goals or some great passes of play from the opposition. But we were just all night. We were just the architects of our own downfall, and it is what it is. On to Steve Bruce on Friday night.
Yeah, well, let's bring in our first guest, Neil, For the Liverpool McGrath podcast, because in the WhatsApp group, he seemed to know a lot more about zonal marking and marking in general from set pieces than the average bear, I thought. So he's coming on. I'm hoping he's going to pop on the screen. There he is, Neil For the Liverpool McGrath podcast. Now, Neil, explain to me the zonal marking situation, because that's a couple of goals we've lost there now for the Southampton game as well, where McGinn was marking Vestergaard. I think it just doesn't make sense. I mean, generally we are not a big side. We have two tall players in our outfield setup, which is a bit strange. It's something I've not really thought about until recently. But yeah, just talk me through that first goal, because it's so annoying in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, like the zonal marking thing for me, especially from that corner, as you mentioned, we've got two big players. We've got two players over 6 foot, 6'1", and one of them can handle the ball. Okay, that guy that can handle the ball was being marshalled by Mikel Antonio. Now our other guy that can head the ball is Tyrone Mings. Now I'm getting to the situation, guys, where while I absolutely love Tyrone Mings, I think over the last two games you have to have a discussion about him and his leadership capabilities with regards to how he organises defences or doesn't organise the defence. I think is as the saying may be. He stands there within a foot of Mikel Antonio, doesn't get involved with him, should get involved with him, should get away trying to get away from his goalkeeper at the very least. And basically he does nothing from the corner. And for me to have a leader like that, and then to basically just turn your head around and see Matt Targett and to see John McGinn with Ogbonna at the back post, for me it's passing the buck, it's passing the blame, I think. And if he's a guy that needs to be our leader, which he absolutely does back there, I think we need to see a bit more from him. But as you mentioned, I suppose really when you do look at zonal marking, though, there's two strains of thought with it. The strain of thought is that, listen, if we have Mings where he was, and this is why I feel like maybe I'm being too harsh on him. This is a gut wrench reaction from the end of the game. Is he's in a good position for where 90% of corners will go. 90% of corners, if a corner is whipped into the correct position, it should go there. So he was in the right position for where most corners go. But for me, that isn't good enough to do your job. Your job isn't there. He should have his head in a swivel, looking around. He doesn't look. He doesn't check to see where people are. And it's not him that gets beat at the back post. But when you've got a leader like that, he's the only guy over 6 foot, I think that maybe he can do a small bit more. And I know people will probably just say it's as simple as having small guys and big guys at the back post, but it's not that simple, especially when you've got zonal marking, especially when you've got you've got something like that so early in the game. We should be a small bit more turned on or tuned in than we were.
In Villa's defence, though, Neil, and this is just me thinking off the cuff, it seems to me that we're doing a mixture of zonal, and there's a few people picking up men, albeit it's players who are never going to win a header in their career, picking up relatively tall guys, and one of them's ended up scoring. But do you think the fact that we have a mixture of zonal and man marking, it adds a bit of confusion? Why wouldn't it just be one or the other?
It's difficult kind of to have a truly fully zonal marking system, especially in the Premier League. It's going to be very difficult because players aren't brought up with that sense, especially midfield players. You can't tell, like, there's no way you're going to be able to tell a lot of midfielders to, like, you couldn't tell Anwar El Ghazi to mark space. because what he's going to do is like he's not going to have that natural ability from when he was brought up from a young guy to play in the Premier League and so on. He's not going to be used to marking space like that, especially in the penalty area. So for something like that, or for midfielders, especially wide men and so on, you're going to say you got to mark somebody. So I don't think there's ever such a true zonal marking system. I think within the Premier League. I can't remember, guys, and you might keep me honest in this. We didn't have anybody on the posts.
No.
We don't have anybody on the posts.
A lot of teams don't now. It seems to have completely gone out of fashion, because if you've got zonal marking, theoretically you've got someone at the near post or the far post, and if the ball doesn't go there, they drop off and then cover on the line. Theoretically, is what's supposed to happen. But we've now conceded two. Like we lost to Southampton by 1 goal. We've conceded as from a set piece. We've lost tonight by 1 goal. We've conceded a set piece. So it's costing us goals, which is ultimately costing us getting anything out of games.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and like, you know, as I say, it's all knee jerk from me today. I'm sorry. I'm usually very smiley and optimistic, even in defeat. But I really need to kind of try and get my head around how we can be so devoid of on-field leadership at times. It's really frustrating. For me, you don't need to be the best player in the world to be a leader, and you know, it's just basic organization. You know, we can blame John Terry, we can blame Richard O'Keefe, we can blame Dean Smith, whoever we want. But at the end of the day, there's a leader in there. There's somebody who's been tasked there to kind of organize people. And the lack of organization for that first corner was startling, because you had a man that was literally allowed to stand on the goalkeeper. And then we had nobody peel off to the back post, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and it's the new age corner tactic where basically everyone bunches together and spreads out. We do it ourselves, and we haven't gotten used to how the literally very simple peel off to the back post, and it's a simple tactic. And I don't know, maybe playing somebody on the post does something for you in that instance, whereby you can actually attack the ball from coming off the post. I don't know. I have no idea how to fix it in the state of mind I'm in at the moment. But it's just really frustrating, and I am going to put an awful lot of my kind of crosshairs on Mings for that, because he's our leader. He's our English international. He's the tallest guy in there, and he's somebody that the whole team looks to for leadership. And we need to have somebody like that organising a corners, whether he's told to do it or not. He should be bellowing, barking. At least he should be getting in there to get Antonio out of the way of the goalkeeper. And I just felt there was a bit of standing around early in the game there, and I wasn't happy with it.
I mean, fair play to you, because you've made one innocent comment in the WhatsApp group, and I've appointed you as the set piece expert. And you've had to come on and talk about set pieces for 10 minutes. So absolutely fair play to you. Dolan, once you've let in a goal in the first minute of the first half, you'd imagine at half time, Dean Smith will have said, switch on for the first 5 minutes. Let's not have a repeat of that. But it's exactly what we got first couple of minutes of the second half, and we can say it again.
Even the body language when we were coming out for the second half, like Richard O'Kelly's, you know, having a laugh and joke with Benrahma walking down a tunnel, and not Richard O'Keefe, Neil.
I know. I've got a mate who's called Richard O'Keefe. I keep on calling him Richard O'Keefe. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I just don't think we need to I just think sometimes forget friendships, leave that until the end of the game. You know, I mean, and we know now footballers are a lot friendlier with each other now than they ever have been, and there isn't that sort of intense rivalry that there was maybe say 10, 15 years ago. But I don't know. I just I'm actually getting angrier. I'm getting angrier as the show goes on. I was having a little. Sorry, Neil, I wasn't really listening to what you were saying, Neil. I do apologise. I was having a little flick through Twitter, and Carragher thinks it should have been a penalty to Ollie Watkins. Ogbonna actually had him in a bit of a headlock, and so there's that debate now going on. So not only was it not offside, they're saying now it should have been a penalty, which I've not seen, because we obviously jump on here straight away. But if you go on Twitter and have a little look, they're sort of calling that, which doesn't make it any easier, does it? But you know, listen, it is what it is. raging now.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well add another layer of misery to the evening with that. I mean, fair play if you've come on to listen to us talk about the game when you can listen to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, because
exactly.
if it was the other way around, there's absolutely no way I'd be coming on to listen to us. So thank you to everyone who has joined. It's not a great advert for the show there, but it is what it is. One positive from the game, Neil, I thought Jack Grealish put on an absolute masterclass again. He just frustrates opposition. They're getting so vexed by him all game. A great goal, a great run, and just another all-round good performance from him.
Yeah, he's top notch. He's like, no matter what way, like when you talk about leadership and you talk about, you talk about, I suppose, being seen to do things to drag people up by their bootstraps and stuff. Jack Grealish really did that for us today. Everything that was good came from him. We needed him to come up big in this game. Having Declan Rice and Souček in centre midfield meant that we weren't going to be able to play through midfield, and I didn't think we were going to do that anyway, considering that we don't have Ross Barkley in there. It's not something we did last year. It's not something we did at the start of the year either. We didn't play through the middle of midfield. When Barkley was there, it gave us the impetus to do that a small bit more, because he played a lot tighter to Ollie Watkins up front. Jack Grealish was fantastic. His turn on the edge of the area, that was just sublime. That was fantastic. His little dive, or his little exaggeration of the kick from Fornals. Look, it was a kick. Did he need to jump up in the air? I don't care. After what VAR did to us, I think that he should dive every single time the ball comes within 5 yards of him. But it's he's special player. And I read a good thing on Twitter actually as the game was going on, and I wish I could remember who it was now, but he was a respected journalist. I can't remember who it was. And he was saying that it looks like that a lot of players that you would see that would have had such a spotlight on them at an international level, why aren't they playing? That they will get into an international team and maybe they will come back and they mightn't have the same impetus for a while for their club team, especially when it's a club team like Aston Villa when the pressure is on their shoulders. But he looks like the game has even slowed down even more for him since he's come back from his international escapades. And it's like he can do what he wants with the ball out there in the field, and players can't stop him. He's just so good.
Yeah, he just loves it. He said himself, pressure is a privilege. I don't think he even knows what pressure is. As you say, he takes his game to another level tonight. The spotlight's on him, and it doesn't faze him at all. Neil, thanks ever so much for joining us, and make sure before you come on next time you've done some reading up on set players, just in case we need to come to you again.
I will do. I will do. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Always good to see you. Dolan, talk to me a bit about Trezeguet, because I'm sure he's probably getting pelters on social media. He's obviously missed a gilt-edged chance. He should be putting it away. It probably wasn't going on target anyway. But when he actually went off, I always think we look worse without him on the pitch. It's really weird because he does a lot of good work. He does a lot of strange things, a lot of bad things. But I think we're a better team with him on the pitch. He just cannot finish at the moment to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never pelter players, if you want to say, in public. I don't think it's classy. I don't think it's cool, and I'll never do it. But he'll know himself. He doesn't need to go on the social media or look back at the footage. He'll know himself that should have been buried in the bottom corner. And but he sometimes there's a few fall guys on our team, and he seems to be one of those. And Gabby came on and said, he doesn't agree about always having players that work hard. I disagree with it. I think players, for me, that are worth their salt do work hard and do track back and play, as one team. And as you said, for all of the flaws maybe he has with his finishing, his work rate and what he does off the ball, it clearly makes a big difference to our team. But listen, I thought when Troy came on, I thought he looked very good. I thought he came on and made a real impact. And I think we know now what Dean Smith will probably do on Friday. I think it'll be Jack in the middle and Troy on the left and maybe Trez on the right. But and then Jack through the centre. But listen, it's frustrating, but let's not forget what he did for us the back end of last season. So he'll always have my respect.
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's bring in our next guest, Omar. I mean, we went through the set pieces and the goals conceded with Neil. I suppose we should go through some of Villa's missed chances, and there were so many of them tonight because, quite frankly, Villa have dominated the game. Apart from the start of each half, you look at that performance and you think there's a lot out there that's the perfect away performance, but we've missed so many chances at Omar, and as I say, we haven't defended at the start of each half.
Yeah, I'm just really, really, really pissed off, to be honest. Really frustrated.
You won't be alone.
Just want to. I mean, I just read a stat, and this just sums it up. I think we faced 11 shots on target in the last 4 or 5 games, and we've conceded 8 goals. It just shows you what. I mean, it's just not going for us. And today, just one of those games. I keep, we said this last time. It's one of those games, but it can't keep happening. This is what 4 losses out of 5 now. Yeah. Games we should have won. Only Leeds have really, beaten us well and deserved to beat us. Every other game, we should have at least got a point or got a win, and we should probably at least be 2 or maybe 5 points better off than we are. So that's the most frustrating thing. But chances wise, I mean, first half, Konza has a good header. And he should really get on top. Gets on top of it. It's almost a free header, and he should really do better. There's chances in Trez in the second half again after last week, missing an easy chance. And again, I mean, he sort of runs ahead of the ball a little bit, so he has to sort of step back with his left foot. And it's hard. I get it, but it's just sums Trez up. I love Trez, I really do, but he just panics, doesn't he? He hasn't got the technique, and he hasn't got the composure in that final third. And I know he's done it end of last season, but we've seen time and time again, he just panics when it's sort of either he's got a cross on or he's got the final shot on. He just makes the wrong decision. And it's unfortunate because he tries so hard. And you saw him when he got, he won a pen at the end of the day. Yes, it was a bit soft, but it was at the end of the day, it was a shirt ball. But you saw him with his head bleeding. He was still keen to carry on. And Dean Smith and everyone was like, McGinn was like, what are you doing, mate? Get off. He just wants to stay on. So, you admire his passion, but at the end of the day, his quality is just lacking. And then, I mean, Watkins as well, I thought. I was never confident with his pen. Obviously, he's missed. No. I don't understand why we're letting him take the pen when he's missed so many. I know he slotted it away against, it was at Southampton.
Yeah.
But there's no pressure on that penalty, Omar. There's no pressure on that. Like the game was over, I think, and it was a great penalty. But like I said, there was no pressure, and I didn't realize his penalty stats were that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize as well. I mean, I thought they were from last season. I was like, what's going on? But actually, it was obviously historically, I don't think he took any pens last season. So the fact he didn't take any pens last season and he's still taking ours this season. When you got Jack Grealish, who's having an absolute worldie of a game, was fantastic. I mean, actually, let's paint a positive, because I don't want to be too down, because I am really, really down. But I thought Louise and Grealish today were fantastic. Grealish especially, obviously, but Louise as well. I thought
Louise was excellent.
Excellent. He just dominated that game completely against Souček and Declan Rice. Let's not forget, 2 very physical defensive midfielders, and Declan Rice, who's potentially going to be starting for England in the Euros. He dominated them. He completely bossed them. And it's just a shame. We dominated that game. Really, we bossed that game, and it's just 2 silly mistakes in the day at the beginning of each half that's cost us. And it's just frustrating. I don't understand why we're not switched on from the second half. We saw the subs, Ben Rama and Haller coming on. Moyes was angry and frustrated with his team in the first half. They're going to come out fighting. Why have we not switched on? Why are we so deep in the first minute of the second half? We're defending on the edge of our goal line. What are we doing? I don't understand. And that's where, to Neil's point around organisation and Mings leading from the from the back, it comes into play there, because he's sort of ducked away from the header as well, and I just don't understand it. I'm sorry, I tried to be positive then, but I've ended up being down again. It's just hard not.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. But I mean, if you look at the stats of the game, 16 attempts, 6 on target, 2.45 expected goals, 25 touches in the option boxes, 118 passes in the final third, and 66% possession. I mean, and you still come away with a 2-1 defeat. So that, for me, for all the positives, to create that again, the conversion is poor, and we're becoming the masters of our own downfall. And from a very solid start defensively, we look really loose. And I don't know why. I don't know how that can be. Usually you find form throughout the season. We started brilliantly at the back as a back 4, back 5, including the keeper, and now we're just looking a little bit out of sorts, and I don't know why that is. But
that's the concerning thing, though, isn't it? Because we came back after lockdown so resolute, so well organised, so well drilled. Even at the beginning of the season, there's so many games that we've just looked hardly like we're conceding. And we're still not really conceding that many shots. There are times last season where we were conceding 15, 16 shots on target, 25 shots on the goal. They were just running through us. And we're not doing that. We're still very resolute in terms of our overall general play, and midfield is looking much better. But it's just individual mistakes. And I think that comes from a little bit of lack of concentration, lack of quality, which I think we're seeing that across the league, to be honest. It's happening across the league still. But at the same time, I think, we do need a bit of leadership at the back there. And I think I love Mings. He's a fantastic player and he's got so much ability. He's got everything you'd need to be a top-class centre-back, but he does make a lot of mistakes. And he's almost too relaxed sometimes on the ball. We saw that in the first half when he was trying to, do a Cruyff turn on the edge of his box and got dispossessed by Declan Rice. And then, they could have had a good chance there if Bowen had done better. Things like that. You just want him to just stamp his authority on the game a little bit more.
It's one of them really tonight where I think the midfield probably looks at themselves and thinks they've done quite well in terms of the chances we've created. We've had a lot of the ball. West Ham really haven't had a lot of the ball at all. They haven't had many attacks. So you look at the defence and think, well, you've had two things to deal with in that game and you haven't dealt with it. And you look at the forwards and you think you should be sticking away more than what you have. There's a lot of very good things in that display from Villa tonight, but it's the frustration again. I thought I was frustrated after Brighton last weekend. Take me back to last weekend now, because this feeling now is far, far worse than what I saw at Brighton. But the other thing, Omar, is we've gone behind 4 times in the last 5 games, I think, and we haven't won any of them games.
Yeah, I think the last
we go behind is a massive problem.
Yeah, the last game we won when we went behind was Watford, wasn't it? At home last year.
Jesus,
I can't think of any of the game we've done that, and that is a real problem. That's a real mentality problem. And we saw today, we just as soon as they scored, I know we got back in the game the same as last week against Brighton, but I was just like, I can't really see us winning. I don't know how we're going to come back, because we just haven't got that gear in us yet. But at the same time, if you look at it, I think this is where perception comes into it, and we do need to just take a bit of a reality check here. I'd much rather be annoyed and pissed off that the fact that we didn't win the game and break into the top 4, then be annoyed that we didn't win a game and break out the bottom 3, which is what was happening last season. So we do need a bit of a perspective now. The fact that that from being 1 point from being relegated to now, being within a winner, getting to the top 4 after 10 games or whatever, 9 games. It's still positive. We've lost 4 of the last 5, and yet we're still within touching distance of the top 4. And we got Newcastle on Friday, and talking to Newcastle, West Ham pretty much did a Newcastle on us today, didn't they? That's what they did, and that's unfortunate. But at the same time, Newcastle probably will have barely 14, 15 players. So if there's a chance to get back into winning ways, and that's it, and that's what we've got to look forward to now, and that's what we've got to be thinking about. If we play like that today, that we did today, then
we'll win most games.
We'll smash them. We'll win most games. We haven't, apart from Leeds, we haven't deserved to lose any game. End of.
Yeah, that's a nice way to sum it up. Thanks ever so much for coming on, Omar, and make sure you're checking out Omar's podcast as well, the Villa Talks podcast. A couple of episodes I think you do a week, and I think I'm supposed to be coming on myself at some point in the next few weeks as well. So look out for that, and keep up the good work, pal, and we'll have you on again, because quite frankly, I love talking to you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers,
thanks, Chris.
mate.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
Bye.
I'll wait for my invite then as well at some point from Omar.
Say again?
I said I'll wait for my invite as well at some point from Omar.
I'm sure he'll have you on as well, mate. If you want to go on, you made me forget what I was going to say now, but I think I've got it back. It's quite good to have a game again on Friday now. You look at it and think of the fixture congestion, but I actually think it's a good thing to have a game so quickly now and have a chance to put it right, because the players will be itching to get back out there and put on a display and kind of make right what's happened tonight, because they'll know that 100% should have been a win for Villa tonight. 100%. So they've now got a chance on Friday, a very winnable game against Newcastle at home. They'll be desperate to go and put it right, and they haven't got much time to think about it, because it'll be here before you know it. I think that's a good thing. Are you still there, Dolan? Okay, talking to myself. This could be a lively end to the show. I'll try and bring in my guest, hopefully. Obviously, we've got some technical issues going on with Dolan's screen. If we could bring Kevin and I could have a chat with him, that would be absolutely excellent. Producer Adam, because otherwise it really is going to be a dismal end to the show.
Back now, I think.
Oh, Dolan's back as well.
I lost you there for about 20 seconds.
It's all coming together. Could we get some more people on the screen other than just my ugly face, please? Producer, there's Dolan back. I think Kev.
Back on again.
I think Kev should be joining us on the screen any second now as well. It's for his Villa View debut. I'm running out of ways to pad producer, so you're gonna have to do something. I can see him at the bottom of my screen, but he isn't coming up on the screen here.
Sweating. Bottom right. Come on, Adam.
I will say that Adam really looks like he's in a VAR booth at the moment, struggling. I mean, let's talk about VAR quickly again because I still haven't got it all off my chest. Just what a miserable, sad. There he is. But what a I could put this to you, Kevin. What a sad little life it is sitting in a VAR booth and taking away goals like that. Just how frustrating is it?
Yeah, again, we're talking about it again, aren't we? I forget who made the point, but you're delighted if VAR goes for you, and you're gutted when it doesn't. You know, when I watched the lines coming up, I was convinced that it wasn't offside, then it was offside, and then it's back to the argument of, is it part of your body that you can score with is offside? I mean, I'm so confused. I used to think I knew a little bit about football, having watched it and played it for nearly 30 years, but I'm actually starting to lose confidence in what I actually understand about the game anymore. It's
absolutely pointless. I mean, I don't know whether you just saw the image that came up. I presume that image that I've just seen on the screen was actually from the penalty shout.
Yeah.
Adam, if you could just give me a thumbs up. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a penalty then as well. Not only has the goal been chalked off, he's managed to put it away despite being wrestled, and I've got the audacity to say that his cotton thread on his shirt is offside when someone's got their arms around his neck. I mean, literally, like you say, Kev, it's pointless. It feels pointless watching football when you're seeing decisions given like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think the penalty was being discussed at the time, was it? It was all.
I didn't notice it.
So yeah, I mean, again, we're just talking about bad luck, but it's just stressful watching Villa at the minute, you know. And I know generally they do cause a lot of stress over the years, but I was really keen to see how we would approach today's game because I really felt it was a game that we couldn't lose. You know, I really fancied us to get something out of it and kind of sell the ship a little bit. But after conceding a goal after 2 minutes, the strategy goes out the window again. Things start to go manic again. People disappear for the first 20 minutes. I actually think Conor Hourihane deserves a shout out because I think he was the only, well, Bart Grealish, but I think he was the only player for the first 20 minutes that was shown for the ball. You know, he was coming for the ball. He was trying to run the show. He was passing, coming short for the ball, as I said. And I think he deserves credit for that because I think he got us going again. But unfortunately for him, he kind of dropped off a little bit after that. But but the first half, I mean, I think generally felt pretty good about the game. I felt confident at halftime. Again, I was interested to see how we would approach the second half. But it just goes out the window again within 2 minutes of the second half. And you just wonder, it's just always manic. We just don't get a chance to settle down and control the game. It's just always defending fanatically and frantically and then attacking in the same manner. You know, and without Barkley, I think we did miss him.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know,
but you sit there and watch us though, and you think about some of the stuff we watched last season. Every game I watch us, and I really like what I see. But it's a world away from the football we were playing probably this time last year, going into Christmas. We were putting some dismal performances in and around Christmas last year. But generally, you watch us, and you think we're impressive. I think we're a good outfit. If you watch that game and take out the goals, and you hadn't seen the goals, you watch how that game was, and you would watch it and think, Villa are a brilliant side. What a side! Play some lovely football. Got some exciting players. Do a lot right. But unfortunately, the key aspect of football is you got to put the ball in the net when you get chances, and you got to defend properly. And we've done neither of those things tonight.
Yeah, we're going to cause every team in the league problems. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. But you know, we got to defend right. You know, we got to do the basics right. I mean, I know, guys, you guys have talked to this to the death now of the zonal marking and why that's not such a great idea with maybe one or two players over 6 foot. Like West Ham are a pretty big side, so I'd be surprised if we go into that game planning to play that way. I'm kind of surprised at that. You know, I don't know. And obviously Mings is doing what he's been told to do, right? I mean, I'm sure John works with him over and over again, and would have known that West Ham have got big players and they're going to be a threat. So I don't really blame Mings. I think he's just doing what they were drilled to do, but it makes no sense. I mean, Target at the back post looked lost. I mean,
he's got no chance.
This guy coming at him and he kind of ducked out of the way, and Martinez was waiting for a free kick that was never a free kick, and then you're uphill battle from there. But I thought we coped okay. I thought the first half, as I say, was decent. I felt comfortable at half time. And then again, the sucker punch at the start of the second half, and then we played okay again. So
yeah,
well, I was stressed. Actually, listening to Omar has kind of calmed me down a little bit and given me a little bit more confidence getting into Friday again. Because I was stressed out watching that.
He's a good counsellor, Omar. I'm not sure what his job actually is, but he'd make a pretty good counsellor. To be fair, Dolan, one thing we haven't spoke about tonight is it wasn't really Watkins' night in front of goal. It is what it is. That's happened. It happens to the best of strikers. It'll happen to him again at some point. But you look at our bench again, and we've said it everywhere, pretty much every show.
Every week. I said every week.
It's laughable to not have a striker to bring on. Absolutely laughable.
I mean, I was speaking to my mate Kieran at half time, and I was like, who do we have on the bench up top? He's like, nobody. And you're like, fuck, I mean, really? I mean, again, Watkins is going to be a quality player for us. He'll be one of our, he'll be the main man in a few seasons, but he needs some help. And again, this is not a knee jerk reaction or a knee jerk quote, but again, how can you be so naive to go into this season with essentially one fit striker at the football club? Davis is a great talent. Still very raw, but suffers a lot of injury problems and is not a prolific goal scorer. Traore is supposedly, can play up top, but again, it's not his favorite position. Why have we not gone out again to get another striker? We don't need another, we didn't need to go and get another £35 million striker. It's like I said last week, Danny Welbeck was sitting there on a free transfer. Bringing him, even his experience around the place, and former England international, played under Ferguson, played under Wenger, played for some big clubs and some big managers. Even bring him in to be around the place and help Watkins, because to have him, it's exactly the same as Wesley last season. Watkins is more prolific than Wesley, but again, it's his debut season in the Premier League, and he's expected to lead the line every single week. And when you've got no backup plan and no plan B, then teams are going to suss us out. They're going to suss us out, week in, week out. And I think that's why, we're 10 games in now, 9 games in, and you can see now after the first 4 or 5 that teams are starting to kind of understand how we play and understand our weaknesses. And again, it's something we've said from the very, very, very start of the season. Our squad depth is again lacking, but I do think we're 3 or 4 players away, maybe 3 players away from having a really, really, really competitive kind of top 8, top 10 Premier League squad, and we're not far off. But for me, my mind hasn't changed. Give me top 12. I'll take 12 any day of the week. I'm still looking behind me than I am above me. That's just my mentality at the minute. Until this club can prove me otherwise, I'm looking at the bottom 3 and the bottom 4 or 5 teams and going, right, if they keep losing and we pick up points here and there, then we'll be okay. I'm not looking above us. I'm not looking, if we win tonight, we'll go 4th. If we win tonight and Friday, we'll go top. For me, baby steps. There's no point getting too carried away. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. And listen, it may sound negative. I think it's being realistic personally, but that's the way I see it.
I mean, you've got to say, you did make me laugh earlier when you were upset that Fulham had won. I was thinking, what's he going on about? Why is he upset that Fulham have won? And then you explained to me, you're still looking at the bar. You must be the only Villa fan that was worried by the fact that Fulham won this evening. Just so you know, Dolan, as well, West Brom won as well over the weekend, so you're probably a little bit worried about that as well. Kev, there is the league table. I've got to say, I look at that now, and 10th would have probably been, if I looked at the games that we had, I'd have probably have said,
it's not bad.
Before the season started, yeah, I'd be happy with being around 10th at this stage of the season, considering the teams we've played. But what do you think, Kev?
Yeah, you probably would. But it's just so disappointing after the teams that we've beaten.
Mm.
And look, I guess we just got to get realistic again and be real. I think, even when we were kind of stuffing teams, Dolan was always kind of a little bit on the cautious side of talking about the squad depth and stuff like that. And I couldn't agree more. Even during that time, while I was enjoying it, of course, but I kind of tended to agree. It was going to come back to us. It was going to come back and bite. you know, it is about consolidating ourselves again this season. We have to remember that, you know, mid-table is okay. You know, that's fine.
It's an improvement.
Yeah.
It's a huge improvement. It's a huge improvement.
And
'Cause, you know,
there's no way, like, Jack Grealish didn't stay this season to finish top 4. He stayed for the next 5 years because he knows it's a plan. He knows it's a project, and I think we're going to just build season on season. And again, we just have to stay in the league. And every year we stay in the league, we become bigger, we become richer, we become more powerful, we become more attractive. And listen, it's not going to be an overnight you know, success. It's going to take time, and I think Brendan Rodgers made a great point before the game tonight. He said league positions in this league don't matter, and they don't. And this season's a bit like the Championship in the Premier League. Any team can beat any team, and any team can give any team a game. And you know, it's going to be one of those seasons, and I just think we've got to just strap in and enjoy it. And you know, we've been around the game too long now to think that it's going to be a walk in the park. And you know, we're going to have games that are going to frustrate you, and we're going to have games that are going to be joyous. And that's football. That's football.
Yeah. Well, Kev, thanks ever so much for coming on and talking to us. Your Villa View debut tonight. I'm sure we'll have you on again as well. And thanks for all your support of the channel as well. It's really, really appreciated.
Yeah,
so
nice,
have a good night. Well, what's left of it now, and hopefully you'll be happy on Friday when Villa stuff Newcastle.
all right, guys, pleasure and a privilege to come on here and chat with you guys.
Cheers, man.
Up the Villa, mate. I mean, I will say the producer has got little or no trust in me. The message he's just sent reminded me of all the stuff I need to say at the end. I had actually remembered. Purity, obviously, sponsor this show, and you can get 10% off your orders at the moment if you use the code #VillaView. And yeah, you'll need to get your keg orders in quite quickly, I think, because if you want to get it for Christmas, there is some form of deadline. And now I do actually need the producer because I don't know when the deadline is. He doesn't know either. He's shaking his head, so that's fine. So yeah, just go on the Purity website if you want to get some of their goods, the Villa cans, the Villa kegs, #VillaView, get you 10% off. You may have seen on our social media today as well that we have a new range of mugs like Pokemon. You want to catch them all, you want to get them all. So the most important one to get is the Sid Cowans mug. I'm not sure if any imagery is going to come up on the screen at the moment, but we have brought out a Sid Cowans mug, and basically any profit that we make from those mugs is going to go to an Alzheimer's charity. We're going to speak to Sid Cowans, we're going to get hold of him, and we're going to see which charity would be his preferred, and any money that is made from the sale of a Sid Cowans mug is just going to go straight to charity. We're not going to take a penny. We do obviously make a little bit of profit from all the other mug sales, but the Sid Cowans ones will be purely to Alzheimer's charity. So I think we've got a Jack version 2 mug. There's a John McGinn mug in there as well. Paul McGrath mug, which was much requested, and of course, upon my request, an Ian Taylor mug as well. Although when I did show him the picture, he was not very happy with the choice that we went for. So yeah, if you go on our Villa View shop, there we go, the villaview.tv, delve onto our shop and you'll be able to get yourself a look at our new mug range. All the old ones are still available as well. Dolan, I think that does us for tonight. I have got a bit more cheery as the show's gone on, but deep down, I'm still absolutely, utterly heartbroken by what Aston Villa can do to me. Friday night, are you around? Are you coming back? You here?
Yeah, should be.
Yeah,
should be.
yeah, we'll be doing a post-match pint on Friday. Quick turnaround. I think we're going to have a Luke Live Lounge on Wednesday as well. Dolan's under pressure to deliver a high-quality guest, so get on him on social media. And he'll
this Wednesday, yeah.
Okay,
right.
Yeah, it's quick. Day after tomorrow, mate. So you've got to be quick. Yeah, a few shows this week. Thanks ever so much for tuning in and missing out on Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, because they are box office, and I imagine you're all as upset as we are. But keep the faith. I've every faith Villa are going to pick up 3 points on Friday. Up the Villa.